Chapter 7.
I'm afraid I have some bad news, Tara.
Isaac finished his examination and stood up as he spoke, standing over her with an expression that showed the situation's severity. A stone of dread sank low in Tara's stomach. She'd known that the way she'd been living wasn't ideal for anyone's health, let alone someone expecting a child. But she'd done the best she could and shelved her fears at the back of her mind, focusing instead on the day-to-day. But the look on Isaac's face told her she'd underestimated the problem immensely. But bad news?
Yes. I'm afraid your pulse is very, very weak, and when I felt your stomach, it seemed to have an excessive amount of amniotic fluid this late in your pregnancy. I believe you may be bleeding internally. Apart from the usual dangers of this condition, it also means that there is not enough blood getting to the child in your womb. I'm afraid if we don't do something soon, your child won't make it.
Deep inside Tara, something gave way and shattered. It was her heart. Tears streamed down her face, and her vision blurred again. She tried to say something, but her voice refused to work. She rose to her feet but was unable to support herself. She was lightheaded and nauseous. She fell into Isaac's arms, and he held her close, trying to comfort her.
Can you save him? I know you're not a doctor, but...
It seemed to be a stupid question. Why was she even asking a man who'd said he wasn't a medical specialist whether he could save her unborn child? Sorrow choked her up again, but Isaac got the message and reassured her anyway.
I can save him, but it's going to be very difficult for both of us. I'll do anything it takes.
Isaac nodded as if he'd expected that response.
We'll have to induce labor, Tara. Your son needs to be born as soon as possible. It's earlier than he should, but it's the only shot we have at...
Tara grabbed Isaac by the collar, desperate to be heard. Her voice was thin and fading now, and she had to strain to be heard, even with his ear right next to her face.
Do whatever it takes, please.
Isaac looked as if he were about to respond when Devyn called his attention. Isaac! Turning his head, Isaac saw that Devyn had entered without them noticing. She was beckoning to him. Can I have a word with you while Tara rests?
Of course.
Isaac carefully helped Tara back into her chair, checking her pulse and temperature again as he did so. It wasn't good. None of it was good. He hurried off to join Devyn in the adjoining room. Before he could ask what the matter was, she turned to face him and spoke. Induce labor? Are you serious? Here? Now? Isaac raised a finger to his lips.
Keep it down,
he responded in a more appropriate register.
We don't need her any more worried than she is already. I'm well aware of the issues here, more so than you are. But that child is going to die, and soon, even Tara may...
I know, Devyn closed her eyes. I know the chances are slim. The little girl said...
Little girl?
Isaac cast a curious glance at Devyn. Forget it, she said. It's nothing. What's the problem, and how do we fix it?
The problems are myriad. Even in the best-case scenario, there will be serious complications. The baby isn't getting enough support from her system. They're both underfed, and the mother is bleeding internally. It's a miracle they're both still alive, but that grace is running out, and fast.
But have you ever done this before? Can you do this? Isaac gave her an exasperated look.
I know more about the human anatomy than any doctor on the planet. You of all people should know that by now. After all, you were sent to kill me because of it, remember? Now that other lives are at stake, I have to do this.
Okay, since we don't have a choice.
We don't. I need you to understand what's happening, even in the best-case scenario. Tara or the child might not make it.
Devyn looked deep in thought and then let out a long, slow breath. Somehow I saw that coming. But you're right. No matter how dire the situation, we have to try. Isaac nodded solemnly and began to make his way back to the living room, Devyn following closely behind. As they approached the sofa, Tara looked up at them.
We're back, Tara.
Tara had regained some of her composure by resting on the chair, but none of her strength. Devyn retrieved the bag with the food in it, pulling out the packs and the water. Isaac moved the small center table closer to Tara, and they both placed the food and water in front of her.
Thank you. It's okay. Just eat as much as you can. You need your strength, and so does your boy.
Isaac's words drove her to sit up and eat. She was slow at first, taking small bites, reluctant and begrudging. After all, she had just eaten the dry crackers, and after starving herself for so long, her stomach couldn't handle very much. As she forced down the food, her pace quickened. Energized by the food, she began to wolf down larger and larger amounts, stopping only to drink the cool water. Soon, all the food was gone, and Tara looked much better. Some of the color had returned to her face, and her movements were less lethargic. Isaac's shoulders relaxed by a few inches, and he and Devyn let her rest.
"Do you think God is punishing me?"
she blurted out suddenly.
"I mean, I've been expecting him to."
Devyn and Isaac both looked at Tara, puzzled. She'd been staring at the ceiling with her eyes half closed, recovering from her meal.
"I don't think so. What makes you think that?"
Isaac replied carefully.
"Well, the rapture has come and gone. It took Mark and millions of others. And here I am, still on Earth. And I don't know why I deserve that when Mark and so many others didn't. I'm still here, and
And so are we, Isaac said. So are a lot of people.
I know, Tara responded. We're all caught up in this living nightmare. But I also hate God for what he did, what he took from me. And he's going to punish me for all my hate."
Silence filled the room. Tara's statement didn't surprise Devyn. She'd heard the sentiment before, but there seemed to be added weight behind it now. It wasn't fresh grief.
You don't just mean Mark, do you?
No.
Her curiosity was piqued, but Devyn didn't want to pry. Isaac, on the other hand, clearly did.
What happened?
Tara sighed, and Devyn glared at Isaac for overstepping. But then Tara began to tell her story.
Growing up, I had an older sister, Nechrissa. She was everything to me. She was smart, funny, and beautiful. She was the perfect child, and I tried to be like her in every way. My parents weren't very religious while we were growing up, but we went to church anyway.
Tara winced a little as she moved around on the couch, as if hoping to find a more comfortable position to sit while she waited for her food to settle.
My parents were old-fashioned, and we lived in a conservative town, but Nechrissa really took to it. She sang in the choir and memorized all the scriptures she could and prayed night and day. And because she was doing it, I had to do it too. I did it because I looked up to her, and I knew if she prayed, then it was the right thing to do. And she was always so proud of me whenever I memorized scripture or sang a proper hymn. I lived for that approval.
Tara took a deep breath, blinking rapidly while staring at the ceiling. Devyn knew she was holding back even more tears, and that the bad end of the recollection was up next.
A year after she graduated from high school, Tara continued, she was diagnosed with lymphoma. When we found out, she just told us not to worry. She was confident that God would heal her, so she wasn't scared. Because she prayed to God all the time, you know, and she did all this good work and always put him first in everything. Of course, God would heal her, right? My parents were skeptical, but of course, I believed her completely. He had to heal her, because why wouldn't he? She was a good Christian girl who loved him. We would pray together all the time for God to heal her. I waited and waited for her to get better, knowing that she would, but she never did. I watched my beautiful young sister, so full of life, wither away in just under a year. And she suffered so much. I would hold her hand and sing her favorite hymn to her. As the deer panteth for the water, so my soul longeth after thee. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. Tara's voice rang loud and clear, fueled by emotion despite her condition. The treacherous tears that she had been holding back slid down her cheeks as she continued her vivid recollection. I was with her at the hospital when she took her last breath. That day, I swore I would never pray again. There was obviously no God, and we were doing all this for nothing. We were all doing it for our own selves, to feel better, to feel righteous. The prayer, the evangelism, it was just wasted breath. If there even was a God, then I wanted nothing to do with him because he is despicable, and I still don't want anything to do with him. First Nechrissa, then Mark,
Now my baby's life is in danger? What kind of God would let this happen to me?
Isaac turned away from the two, making a gesture that was suspiciously similar to wiping away tears. Devyn looked at Tara, too heartbroken to speak. After a minute of solemn silence, she found her tongue. I completely understand how you feel, Tara. I lost my whole family before I was even old enough to understand that they were gone. I was taken in by someone I thought was a man of faith, but he was just using me. In the end, I realized it was all part of God's plan, and we all have our place in it.
That makes absolutely no sense,
Tara spat out angrily.
I mean, listen to what you just said. I just don't understand how a loving God could let these things happen. It's absurd you even think that,
Tara retorted.
My sister was a devout believer, but she still suffered great pain and died. I mean, he made her suffer that pain. Why? Why? My baby's son is innocent, but his life is already in danger before he's even faced the world. How do you explain that?
Devyn thought about this for a moment before answering. I'm not God, but I do know he works in mysterious ways. He sent his son to die a sinner's death just so people like us could be saved. He too was in pain and suffering, and God saw his own son die like that. As hard as it is, you have to believe he has a plan for you. After all, Isaac and I aren't here by mistake. We didn't plan to cross your path. We didn't even know you. But here we are. And now Isaac is doing everything he can to save little Mark. I believe it was God who led us here, and he did it for a reason. You have to believe it, Tara. If you don't believe in that, you have nothing to hold on to. Devyn's voice shook. She was almost in tears, too. Tara's face softened.
But I guess, what are the odds that a geneticist and a kind-hearted woman would be driving along and somehow take an interest in helping me? There are so many others who needed help after all. And maybe I allowed Isaac to examine me for a reason,
she whispered, staring into space. Before Tara could say any more, Isaac loudly cleared his throat.
Tara, I'm going to need you to tell us where to get water, clean towels, and a wireframe hanger. Devyn, see if you can find some methylated spirit from the first aid box in the van. We'll need it to sterilize the hanger as well as possible.
A hanger?
Yes,
Isaac responded.
I'll need it to break her water, and I'm also going to need my bag. I have some medicine that might help her get through this a bit more easily. No matter what else happens, this is going to be extremely painful for her.
Devyn didn't like the thought of what had to be done, but there was no choice. For all her doubts and reservations, she knew Isaac was right. He was their only hope of surviving.
Okay, where can I find these items, Tara?
An even weaker Tara pointed toward the kitchen and the laundry room of the house, and Devyn swung into action.
Devyn!
Devyn stopped in her tracks at Isaac's call, but didn't turn back or respond.
I need you to hurry,
he continued.
We don't have much time. It may already be too late.
Isaac watched Tara with mixed feelings. He didn't like that he has to do this either. And unlike Devyn, he knew precisely how dire things were. As a matter of efficiency, he'd deliberately neglected to tell the others everything. Tara would have to fight with everything in her just to get the child out. Literally everything she had left.